Oh. Hello. I did not expect you to be here right now. Ignore what's going on here. I can explain myself. Look, I know pigeons aren't real was debunked years ago. But this is new stuff, alright? Fellow researcher and scientist Phase Adapt is onto something. He knows what he's talking about, okay? He was in Japan. Welcome back, fellow millionaires. Today we're going to be covering YouTubers that went a little off the deep end and became indoctrinated into the world of cults and conspiracy theories. And no, Phase Adapt, he will not be talked about in this video because he is, in fact, just exposing the truth. Let's not get that wrong, all right? Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, the rumors are true. And I know what you guys are thinking. $2.5 million? Yes. I'll go broke and die on this hill about this. Listen, me and my investors just closed Series A of funding for this. We're launching an in-depth investigation into the government's alarming, unconsensual, and inhumane use of these things right here. All right, I saw it firsthand in Japan, and I haven't been able to shake it. I'm not turning a blind eye to this. It's a serious, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to see what's really going on behind the curtain. And I'll keep you guys posted, all right? Because we're going all the way. We're going all.
Ain't no way that those birds went from delivering messages during war to just sitting on telephone poles and And before we dive into these topics, let's give a few definitions. What are conspiracy theories? Conspiracy theories are the attempt to explain harmful or tragic events as the result of the actions of a small, powerful group. Such explanations reject the accepted narrative surrounding those events. Indeed, the official version may be seen as further proof of the conspiracy. Now, there are hundreds of other conspiracy theories, you know, the normal ones, the ones that we hear all the time, the Illuminati, the JFK assassination, Flat Earth, 5G, and so on, with millions and millions of people believing some sort of conspiracy theory. We will also be talking about cults. And what are cults? Cults are usually small groups devoted to a person, idea, or philosophy. The term cult is often applied to a religious movement that exists in some degree of tension with the dominant religious or cultural inclination of a society. In recent years, the word cult has been mostly used as a pejorative term for a religious group that falls outside the mainstream and by implication engages in questionable activities. Many new religions are controversially labeled as cult. Some include, but are not limited to, Scientology, Mormonism, and Falun Gong. Today, we'll be talking about YouTubers who became conspiracy theorists or delve deeper into the world of cults.
You have a backup experiment. If you're seeing through this hole, through the next hole, and seeing the light at the backboard or at 17 feet off the water, the earth is flat. If he's holding it up at 23 feet high and we're seeing the light, well, that's because the earth's curved. So I should only be able to see it when it's at 17 feet. Okay, go ahead and drive down there, Enrique. You're going to hold the light there. Enrique, how high is your light?
17 feet.
I mean, it's as, we don't see you, Enrique. Lift up your light way above your head. Interesting. Interesting, yes. That's interesting.
To start with, we have a somewhat small YouTuber named Ghost619. Now, Ghost619 was known for doing Call of Duty videos, but over the last few months, this YouTuber has transitioned to creating content predicting the Rapture, as well as other content bashing other religions. This transition has left the previous fans, as well as people in the Call of Duty scene, bewildered. Yeah, it is a pretty big 180, going from playing games where you kill people and doing content about that, and playing games where you're literally in wars, to predicting the Rapture. Recently, he has graced YouTube with such videos as The Truth, The Rapture and the Lord's Feast explained in 2 minutes, and the final days have begun. Are you ready for the Rapture? Now, I just want to say, like, as I was looking at his new content and videos, looking at the titles, I do think it's funny that he has one called Explained in 2 minutes, as if he was like, all right, I'm gonna be doing this new content on, the end of the world, but let's see if I can do it in 2 minutes, right? Let's still do a little YouTube challenge. It's like he's like, I'm still gonna be a YouTuber, but my content's just different. Now, what is the rapture? The rapture is a Christian belief that all believers, both living and dead, will be resurrected and rise into heaven to meet Jesus Christ at the second coming. The term rapture does not appear in the New Testament, but the Apostle Paul's first letter to the Thessalonians describes an event that some interpret as the rapture. Little disclaimer, when I talk about these YouTubers that are Christian, I am not coming at Christianity. Ghost619 and another YouTuber I will be talking about later call themselves Christians, but are very much far removed from what a Christian really is. Okay, they're just using it as a label for themselves and don't actually represent Christians. So I'm not coming at Christianity. Okay, y'all good in my book. Okay, I'm talking about people that have gone a little further. Now, conspiracy theories about the end of the world are not new, like 2012. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember when people thought the world was going to end in 2012? Everyone was sitting around. Everyone was like, so what's going on? I'm sure there were a lot of kids that were terrified that the world was going to end. I literally remember I think it was Queens in New York. I was on a bus and I literally saw a giant sign about the end of the world. Like some church was advertising, like, come here to be saved before the end of the world, 2012. And then we made it past, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, yeah, but well, the calendar is actually not, representative of ours, so it's a different year. Now, there are plenty of people out there that believe in the rapture and think that everything bad happening right now is a sign. But, bad things have been happening forever, so I wouldn't take, oh my God, new war, new this as a sign of the end of the world. That's kind of been the last, hundreds of years now. Okay, which isn't a very long time in the time span of the universe, but still. Now, of course, with his rapture rhetoric, he's also started spewing hate on Twitter towards pretty much everyone else that exists. If you are not a Christian, then you're going to hell, and that is what he believes. And some of those tweets are kind of crazy that he retweets. Some coming at Muslims and people that, Catholics, pretty much anyone under the sun that isn't a so-called Christian in his book. And I've seen people online, and I kind of go on this later on when I talk about another YouTuber, that there are Christians that post online and they're like, we are not like this. We do not claim these people. They are a very small minority. And I understand that with every religion, you're always going to have a few people that are extreme, right? And that's with every religion. Now, the story of Ghost619 is kind of a, how can you call it? It's probably a very surprising one for a lot of people, but apparently to a lot of his fans, they kind of saw it coming. Over the last few years, he had been talking a little bit more about religion in his content, apparently, from what I can find on Reddit. I can't find any of his old videos, so I don't know. He kind of removed all that. And apparently, and I feel for him. Some people believe it's after the loss of his girlfriend, which is, very sad. And that kind of pushed him towards this. I think that's something we'll see later on as we discuss more of these YouTubers, that a lot of them were in vulnerable states when a lot of this kind of took over them. I think that's a big part about conspiracy theorists and, conspiracy theorism and cults. They come at you when you're vulnerable, and that's how they get you. Moving on. Next, we have Shane Dawson. Now, Shane Dawson is nothing new to anybody who's been on YouTube for the last, 15 years. During the pandemic, I think, is when Shane really took off with his conspiracy theory content. But now, Shane Dawson has basically become a conspiracy theory content creator, joined by his conspiracy theorist brother, Jared Dawson. They believe a lot of insane theories, including but not limited to the theory that psychedelics are banned because they could free you, simulation theory, and Project Bluebeam. Now, the last one that I just mentioned, I think, is the one I want to talk the most about. So, in one of their videos, Shane goes to Jared to talk about this Project Bluebeam, and he's even like, am I gonna get killed? Is the government gonna kill me for talking about this?
Walking a line of like, am I gonna get killed for talking about this?
Which, you know, I think is kind of that conspiracy theorist mentality. But what is Project Bluebeam? Well, Project Bluebeam is a conspiracy theory which claims that NASA is attempting to implement a new age religion with the Antichrist at its head and start a new world order via a technologically simulated second coming. The allegations were presented in 1994 by Quebecois journalist and conspiracy theorist Serge Monod, and later published in his book Project Bluebeam. Proponents of the theory allege that Monast, I don't know, man, I'm butchering his name, and another unnamed journalist who both died of heart attacks in 1996 were in fact assassinated, and that the Canadian government kidnapped Monast's daughter in an effort to dissuade him from investigating Project Bluebeam. The project was apparently supposed to be implemented in 1983, but it didn't happen. It was then set for implementation in 1995 and then 1996, and it still didn't happen. Finally, Monast thought that Project Bluebeam would be brought to fruition by the year 2000, and well, you can probably guess the rest. You know, we see that a lot with a lot of conspiracy theories. It's gonna happen at this time, and it doesn't come. So they're like, well, actually, it's this time. They kind of caught on and moved it. That's kind of how conspiracy theorists work, and also people in cults that believe that their savior is gonna save them from some end of the world kind of cataclysm, right? That it's coming at this time but never comes, and so it just keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed. The way Shane and his brother describe it is that the government is faking an alien invasion in order to control the planet. That's right, the people in control are trying to control the planet. I think that's where this theory kind of falls apart, is that they're saying that the government will implement this in order to control people. The government already controls people. I don't know where these theories come from of the government's trying to control us. They already do. We're grasping at straws here. There's a reason this kept getting pushed year after year after year. You know, you have a short life, just live it, man. I just want to enjoy my life. I'm not going to worry about the government's trying to control me, man. The government doesn't care about me. They don't know who I am. They don't know who you are. Now, I think the issue with Shane Dawson's content is that every theory he brings up, whether in his podcast or his conspiracy theory videos, is presented in a way to scare you. You know, no matter how small of a theory or how pointless of a conspiracy theory it is, the whole time it's got scary music and he's flashing imagery to scare you. In one video, he spent so much time at a supermarket presenting the conspiracy theory that, you know, all these foods are made by the same people. Like, oh, this drink and this drink are made by the same one, but why are they presented differently? It's capitalism. That's what companies do, man. It's called greed. That's it. Nothing else. It's up to the consumer to then look at it and be like, they're made by the same company, never mind. I'll just make it at home with fresh fruits. And also, some of these products isn't even that they're unhealthy, they're just made to make more money off people with more money. Rich people don't want to be drinking or eating the same things as us peasants, right? So, upsell them, upcharge them. But to wrap up, yeah, I think that's the main gripe with Shane now. And I mean, obviously, not now. I mean, he's done a lot of awful stuff, and there's a reason people try to cancel him. And, you know, obviously, I don't know how much has worked. He's still gets millions of views. But yeah, he fearmongers a little too much. And I think when you do that and you maybe find someone in a vulnerable mental state, you can easily influence what they believe. And they can fall for anything, and it can happen to anyone in a really vulnerable state. And I think that's one of the main things with this new conspiracy theory content that people should be worried about, is that anyone in your family might just stumble upon it and start believing everything he's saying, right?
Breakfast! I'm hungry! Take it from Carinkles. That's me. The best breakfast under the big top is post-sugar rice Carinkles. So crinkly, so delicious, so different. Each grain of rice in sugar rice Carinkles is carinkled with honey and sugar. It's so good, I crinkle every time I eat it.
Next up, we have someone who I used to watch a ton of. Like, actually, every video they put out, I was watching for a long, long time. Like, seriously. And that is Aaron Kyro. Aaron Kyro is the creator of the brand and channel Braille Skateboarding, who have amassed almost 6 million subscribers and over 1.8 billion views. That's a lot, over a billion, almost 2 billion views. In the last year or so, Aaron Kyro has come under fire for allegedly giving up everything in order to pursue a higher rank in the Church of Scientology. And is Scientology a cult? Some would say it is. To get a good, concise, and I guess enjoyable definition of what Scientology believes, turn to none other than South Park. That's right. In season 9, episode 12, Trapped in the Closet. Most people on the internet agree that it is actually a good definition and representation of what Scientology is. And they even have a disclaimer in the episode that states, this is what Scientologists actually believe. Now, Aaron Kyro's journey started decades ago when he first moved to San Francisco and went to the church for public speaking courses and other courses in that motivational area. But from the 90s to now, he's made a transition to becoming the head of Scientology in San Francisco. Now, this was unofficially leaked by Aaron Smith Levin, another Aaron, of the channel Growing Up in Scientology, where he got insider news that Aaron had been handpicked by the head honcho, David Miscavige, I don't even know how to say that name, to lead San Francisco Day. Clarification on that, San Francisco Day is literally what it means. He leads the day chapter, and then someone else leads the nighttime crew. The day one is the one that has more power, more influence, more money. Basically, it's the more important one. I also find it kind of like surprising, shocking, I don't know, that a skateboarder became the voice of Scientology for a lot of YouTube people, I think, and also for San Francisco. Like, that is crazy. And I think from what I've read, San Francisco is kind of really big, even though they have their, big giant church in LA. San Francisco apparently also has a lot of power. The way he shut it down too, allegedly, from what the skaters have said, and it seems to be kind of true, is they just showed up one day and the whole warehouse was getting torn apart and they were without jobs. They all taught skateboarding there, gave lessons, and they all had insurance and everything through him. So yeah, rough. Braille is now basically dead, and the other skaters that were on the team have all been pretty much let go or left on their own accord and started a new channel. So go support those guys. Finally, we have ex-Vlog Squad member BigNik. Now, BigNik was mostly known for being the bullying victim of David Dobrik's videos. After leaving the Vlog Squad, he found Jesus. Now he calls himself a Christian, but I don't know if he really is. He aligns more with conspiracy theorists that believe that the devil is behind everything that happens in Hollywood and that he controls the people in power. Before all this, BigNik had kind of, come back onto the scene trying to expose David and his crew. And I don't mean trying, actually. He really did expose a lot that David had done wrong. It was during one of the first, I think it was the first wave of David Dobrik getting canceled. And then he moved on from that to try to make his own content. Now, BigNik first started by making trash, quote-unquote Christian music. But then he quickly went down the pipeline of calling everyone and everything satanic. And you can kind of see that in his channel. If you go, it's like everything is like evil. Satan, 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 Satan. At one point, he even blamed the devil for his music not doing great, like comparing a song to Lil Nas X and saying his did better because of Satan. Buddy, I think your music sucks. If God liked it, maybe he would have helped you out. Okay. During the pandemic, he actually started pushing a lot more satanic conspiracy theories. Everything from vaccines to AI to music to everything. That led to him giving us some insane theories like AI opened a portal and revealed Satan's endgame. The Pope reveals he is working for the Antichrist. And why the April 8th solar eclipse is a huge sign from God. I feel like for him, I don't agree with it, Satan. And honestly, at this point, I feel like he's more obsessed with Satan than actually being passionate about being a Christian. You know what I mean? Like, if you spend every waking moment making content about Satan, making songs against Satan, talking about Satan, are you a Jesus follower, or are you just like, is Satan just your op and you're making diss tracks? Like, what are you doing right now? I really don't get it. And I have seen some posts on, including Reddit, of Christians saying, yeah, we do not believe 99% of the things that he says, which, when you put that together, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I can see that he definitely does not speak for Christians and is definitely not a Christian. It's almost like BigNik is a social media televangelist, like, these guys that are talking about they need private jets, they need this money, God's telling them that they need to get this stuff. Like, have you seen that guy that he like yells at the reporter? He's like, don't you say that to me.
You said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
Bo literally looks like a demon. That guy is actually terrifying. Now, BigNik barely gets views compared to what he used to, so his fall off is insane, but deserved, rightfully so. I also think it's like crazy because he comes from parents that are doctors, and I don't know what their beliefs are, but I would assume that if they're doctors, chances are they don't believe a lot of the stuff that he's kind of putting out there, but maybe they, they're like, oh, it's for money, whatever. And if they're well off as doctors, he really has nothing to worry about, right? Look, at the end of the day, I think you should believe what you want to believe, as long as what you do believe isn't about hating other people or causing harm to other people. Do whatever you want. It's your life, not mine. I just want to talk about these YouTubers because they're pretty big cases. You can believe in gods, aliens, demons, whatever. Just live your life. Focus on yourself, though, not on everyone else around you and what they're doing. We all have our problems. We're all trying to just survive on this little blue dot in the universe. Until next time, peace.